Hi, how are you doing today? Fancy that walk and chat? Let's go. So, today's reflection is about self-care myths. What do I mean about self-care myths? I think sometimes, we talk about self-care a lot, and I think sometimes we use it as an umbrella term, not in the way it's really meant. That's what I mean by myths. So I'm going to get into the actual definition, the actual reason behind self-care in a bit, but I'm going to tackle these myths first. And these are just my reflections, what I've seen, how I've been in the past as well. So I think when it comes to self-care in the world we live in this busy, noisy world, it often becomes what I feel is more stress management. How are we dealing with this busy, noisy, stressful life? And I think we don't have a lot of time. And we've been told about boundaries, and we've been told about, cutting yourself a bit of slack, giving yourself some grace around things. Don't be so uptight about stuff. But then can that tip over a boundary of what actually self-care is? So what I mean by that is, firstly, I'll start with language. And we can often say things like, I deserve this, or I'm going to treat myself. And then the action goes into, I deserve that drink, I deserve that cake, I'm going to treat myself to that cake or drink, or chill and Netflix. Now, while there's nothing wrong with these things at all, I think sometimes these things become a habit rather than a bit of downtime. And it's probably a habit because of our lack of time and how stressed and busy we are. So we come home and we can't be bothered to cook. Believe me, I know that one. We put not very good food in the oven, or we'll have a stressful meeting in the day, so we'll go and get that cake at lunch and we'll think, oh, I deserve it. We'll say those words, and I think I'm trying to drop that word in particular for deserve, because I think it holds so much weight. If you deserve that piece of cake, it's like you're not allowed to have it. And then that cake becomes a thing, doesn't it? So, and I've started to try and drop it with the kids. You don't deserve that toy unless you do this thing, right? But then when we use that word like that in our lives, I think we end up, that's where I am not enough stems from, or I'm not good enough stems from, because I need to do something to achieve something. I need to do something to be someone. I can only have this good thing in my life if I deserve it. So I think we need to be a little bit careful when it comes to our language, generally speaking, because I've just said it in different ways there, and treat myself. Are you really treating yourself if you're putting bad things in your body regularly? Is it really a treat for your body? So again, when we look and we're curious at the language we use, we're giving it different meanings. So maybe, have the cake, that's fine, have the drink. But maybe don't call it something that you deserve or something that you are treating yourself to, because when it comes to self-care, if we were really caring about self, we wouldn't do those things, or we wouldn't do them so often. So that was just where this sort of stemmed from. Chill and Netflix, pizza and Netflix, again, same thing. Here for do a time out. Have the pizza and Netflix, but is it becoming a regular thing? Is pizza, I did a video about how I'm 3 years sober, and a lot of people are seemingly, younger people as well, not drinking. But as the distraction with the drink turned now to this chill and Netflix phenomenon, where is our attention going? And is it really for our self-care? That's the question. So let me read you then what it says actually self-care is. So self-care is the process of establishing behaviours to ensure your overall well-being, promoting health and managing illness when it occurs. It includes things like food choices, exercise, sleep, and hygiene, and can also include support from a community. And then I found another one that said, taking care of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your life to stay healthy. So let's go back to the first one. So it's a way of establishing behaviours. So are your behaviours really giving you self-care? Is the pizza and Netflix every week supporting that? Is the cake or the coffee every day supporting your self-care when it comes to food choices? So exercise, sleep, hygiene, and support from a community. These are the very rounded, wholesome ways to really look after ourselves. And I don't think we're seeing it that way. I think sometimes when it comes to exercise, we can often think of it as a chore. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But when we see it as well-being, take the pressure off, zoom out a little bit, and see it as a well-being approach to our lives, a self-care approach, then we can be like, yeah. Because I don't know about you, but I have values, my own personal values, and health is in that. So if I'm living to my values, I will do things that are more healthy as often as I can. I will give myself grace. This isn't about never having these things. It's just about the context we're having them in, and is it really self-care when we're talking about this stuff? So let's dive in then to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Mental things that I'm doing to help when it comes to self-care is really just focusing on the downtime, some silence in my day. Doesn't have to be meditation. Again, I think we can shy away from things like meditation when it feels like it's a thing to do. What if I just said to you, it's time to go and do nothing? Doesn't that sound more appealing? Isn't that something you would likely do more often in the day? Go and do nothing. I mean nothing. Just sit. I think we just need to do that more often in the day. Whether you're someone who's at home with the kids or at work, just take yourself off. When you can feel the emotions bubbling, the frustration, some, triggers happening, take yourself off and just sit and give yourself the time that you need to do it, whatever time you've got to do it. It can be as little as a minute. You can have 10 minutes. It's whatever you've got in this busy, noisy world. And on that, you're taking yourself away from the stimulus. All the stimuli in our life, all this distraction, the screens, the people around us, the to-do lists, taking ourselves away from all that and just being without the stimulus. I think it's really important for our mental health. Physical. So I forget what they say now, but the Buddhists say something that is like we're always, when it comes to suffering, we always want the other thing. So if we sit down a lot, we want to stand up and we feel relief when we stand up. If we're stood up a lot, we want to sit down and we feel the relief from sitting down. And I think that's key when it comes to self-care here about our physical health. What have you done all day? What do you need to, have you been physical in your day? Do you need to rest? Have you been sat down all day with your job? Do you need to do some exercise? balance it out. See when it comes to the physical, what you need. Use your intuition. Emotions then, emotional well-being. On this, I would say allow it. Allow yourself and others to go through the emotions. This is what mindfulness is all about. Don't push them away because it will come back and bite you later on. So allow the emotions to come and unfold as they do. Allow other people's emotions, as difficult as that might be for us to sit in someone else's emotion, even if it's something like anger. Don't take it personally. Allow them to have it and understand that something's coming from inside of them. They're not happy. There's something in them right now that's causing this anger and frustration and triggers and stuff, and same for you. And it's having the self-care around that to allow that to happen. So let yourself go through the emotions, let other people go through the emotions, and to express them in a kind way. Don't bottle any of this up for those reasons that I've said. And then spiritual self-care. Every time I say this word, there's always a group of people that it gets the heckles up. Spiritual, I'm not religious. There's another piece of you then. If you're not spiritual, you're not religious, there's another piece of you that is not physical, mental, emotional. There's another piece. It is there. Whatever label you want to call it. Soul, your inner self, your spark, your light, something else is in there. And when that's not fulfilled, we feel dim, like our light is dim, like we're missing something. We can have everything on paper. I've done a video on this before. We can have everything on paper. Our life looks amazing. The job, the house, the car, the guy, the girl, the kids, the holidays. We can have it all, but still not feel fulfilled. And that's the missing piece. What is inside that you're missing? What is your calling that is not coming to life? And I think we need to give it some time. When it comes to self-care, we need to give that light somewhere to shine. What is it you want to do? What do you want to get creative about? What do you want to see or do in the world? Could be a hobby, anything. So that's what I mean about spirituality. What's your creativity, your creative juices? Tap into that a little bit. So that's what I'm saying about self-care and the difference. You can see the difference. When we talk about self-care in the real definition, it's about looking after yourself, looking after your well-being. It's not just saying, oh, I'm going to go easy on myself and have that cake, or I'm just going to do now, and that's me looking after myself. I'm just going to have a bath and that'll be it. I've done my self-care for the day. It's not quite just that, is it? It's a bit deeper. So have a more holistic approach to your self-care and see if it makes a difference. Think about your language and the actions that follow the language that you use around self-care. And are you taking care of you? So there's my reflections today on self-care myths. What's your reflections on this? Do you look after yourself? And in what way? And does it really help? Let's help each other. Thanks for watching. Much love. Bye for now.